On my recent trip to Chiang Mai, I decided to take an excursion to Chiang Rai for the day. It was my first visit to this naturally beautiful part of Northern Thailand. Ideally, I'd like to have stayed longer to fully explore this region. However, in this video, I'll show you the highlights of my day visit. I booked a guided trip through a local tour company which collected us from our hotel in Chiang Mai at 7 a.m. The cost of this 13-hour adventure was £54, around 2,400 Thai baht per person. We headed up the Highway 118, then Highway 1 on a 3.5-hour journey to Chiang Rai in an old but comfortable minibus with a small group of tourists. First stop was said to be a tourist attraction at the side of the highway, which contained a small hot spring, but was basically little more than a pit stop and a rest for the driver at the halfway point. It gave us an opportunity to stretch our legs and browse the roadside market. I think it was stretching to say it was an integral part of the journey's itinerary. Founded in 1262, Chiang Rai was a part of the Lanna Kingdom. The region, rich in natural resources, was occupied by the Burmese until 1786. Chiang Rai Province's Golden Triangle, bordering Laos and Burma, was once the hub of opium production. Chiang Rai became a province of Siam in 1910 after being part of the Lanna Kingdom for centuries. After Lanna was incorporated into Thailand, it remained an autonomous region, and thus the Chiang Rai area was administered from Chiang Mai. Our first stop was Wat Rong Kung, also known as the White Temple, which is undoubtedly the most famous attraction in Chiang Rai, judging by the number of visitors at the temple. It opened to the public as recently as 1997. What makes this site that special is the unique white architecture symbolising Buddha's purity, glimmering in the sunlight. During a visit, you walk along a one-way system, passing outreaching hands which are meant to symbolise unrestrained desire. Crossing the bridge towards the temple signifies the way to happiness is to forego temptation, greed and desire, taking you to the gate of heaven, which is guarded by two creatures represented Death and Rahu. Rahu decides the fate of dead. The White Temple is truly a majestic sight and not to be missed. The intricacies of the design and the skill of the artists maintaining this temple blows your mind. I only wish that there were less visitors mingling around so I could enjoy the splendid sight in a more peaceful setting. Despite these crowds, this is an extraordinary place and probably the most beautiful temple I've ever been to in more than 30 years of travelling throughout Thailand. The tour company laid on lunch for the group at a local restaurant close to the White Temple. After lunch, we headed for another beautiful temple. The Blue Temple, Wat Rong Sur Ten, is definitely one of the highlights of the city and shouldn't be missed. The entrance to the temple, which is guarded by two Naga snake heads, is stunning. The fascinating thing here is that the entire temple is kept both inside and out in shades of blue. Many decorations, the elaborate carvings, and a huge white sitting Buddha which decorates the temple interior are impressive. The play of light is also breathtaking, an experience in itself. Another ancient temple once stood here, and tigers are said to have roamed freely over the grounds when it was abandoned nearly a century ago. The Blue Temple, as it exists today, is brand new by comparison. The local village decided to rebuild the temple in 1996 and began the project in 2005. Construction was officially completed in 2016, but the Blue Temple is still considered a work in progress. This temple is on a much smaller scale than its neighbour, but is spectacular in its own right. The intricate designs in the temple symbolise the culture and history of the Lanna people. The temple is a fascinating fusion of traditional Buddhist values and classic Thai architecture with some contemporary design choices. The Blue Temple was designed by Putta Krabkru, a student of the artist who built the White Temple. Next stop was the Black House, or Bien Dam Museum. This attraction is a project of the artist Tawan Dachani, who dedicated his lifetime to facets of death. During a tour of an open-air museum, you will see numerous mystical figures, sculptures and objects. Bien Dam isn't just one singular structure, but a collection of about 40 buildings spread over a landscaped garden. Dushni excelled at wood carving, so you'll find many of these intricately carved pieces at the museum. He travelled extensively and collected items from around the world. You'll notice that Dushni had a fascination with animal remains. He has dozens of these alligator skins, as well as furniture made from buffalo horn and different types of large seashells. If you're an animal lover, then you probably won't like this place. Dushni died of liver failure in 2014 at the age of 74. However, his museum stands as his legacy for visitors to admire. Onwards to our next stop. Hill tribes are a collective term for minority ethnic groups that live in the region. The most recognisable of these are the Karen, or long-neck hill tribe, who escaped across the border from Burma to settle in the hills of Northern Thailand. Whilst they undoubtedly have a better life here in Thailand, unfortunately, these immigrants remain persecuted and are not afforded the same support and services as local Thais. They try to maintain a traditional way of life. However, I feel this has been compromised, and the organised tours to hill tribe villages have turned them into a human zoo to be gawked at by tourists and have their photos taken with them. I appreciate that they rely on the money brought in from tourism. However, it does in my eyes seem a little demeaning for them. On ethical grounds, we decided not to go and see the Karen people during our tour. However, I still wrestle with that decision, as I'm aware that they rely on the funds it brings. I remain unconvinced that the local government and tour operators aren't exploiting these honourable and proud people for their own profit. Our last attraction on this tour was a boat trip along the Mekong River in the Golden Triangle, where Thailand meets Myanmar and Laos. This lush jungle and misty mountain area is steeped in history and is famous for its opium growing past. Today, the Golden Triangle is a popular tourist destination, but is still worth a visit. Historically, you had been able to cross the river to visit a market in Laos. However, this option to enter Laos from here is not available at the current time. It is interesting how Laos has been developed in recent times from funding by the Chinese, in particular, who have opened many casinos on the banks of the river. Gambling remains illegal in Thailand, however, wealthy Thais often make trips over to Laos to visit these casinos. The ride on the boat only lasts around 30 minutes. However, you do get the opportunity to view these three countries from the river and enjoy the leisurely but noisy voyage. Whether you are in a small or large tour group, be respectful to others and return to the meeting point at the allotted time. We spent 15 to 20 minutes each stop waiting for a couple of girls who were fixated with getting loads of Instagram photos, regardless of the thought about the group who were constantly waiting for them to return late. We returned to Chiang Mai around 9 p.m. after our driver tried his best to imitate Lewis Hamilton on a racetrack. Overall, the tour was reasonable value for money and gave a good taste of what Chiang Rai has to offer. You visit the major tourist hotspots and don't feel rushed at any of the attractions. Clearly, Chiang Rai has much more to offer than what we saw on this tour, but a day trip provides an interesting contrast to your stay in Chiang Mai and is highly recommended. You can fly direct to Chiang Rai from Bangkok and other parts of the country, with budget airlines operating several flights a day. In Thailand, the railway stops at Chiang Mai and you can't travel north by train. Commercially, it's unlikely that rail services will link Chiang Rai to its neighbour in the near future, as Chiang Rai is mainly a rural region with insufficient population or industrial interest to make a railway extension viable. Like me, most tourists visit Chiang Rai on a day trip. However, next time I intend to stay a little longer and enjoy the stunning waterfalls, scenic mountain viewpoints, and the unique Lanna food scene that Chiang Rai has to offer. The culture up here in the north is like nowhere else I've experienced in Thailand.